Today, we're going to be looking at why the outlets and plugs in the United Kingdom are better than the ones we have here in America. Hey, what is going on? Thanks for stopping back by the channel today. I do appreciate you guys coming back. And if you're new here, thank you for checking me out. Today, we're going to be looking at why the outlets and plugs in the United Kingdom are better than the ones we have here in America. I'm excited to check this out. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps me out in the algorithm. Also supports this channel so I can keep bringing videos to you. There's some housekeeping we got to get out of the way. This is a reaction channel. And I know sometimes there are videos that I react to that people don't necessarily agree with, which is fine. I'm asking that if you comment, that you just drop a comment that tells me why you disagree with the video, or give me a better video to react to. See, I don't know a lot about other cultures around the world. That's why I do what I do, because I like to learn. But when I am being honest and I feel like I'm just reacting to what I see, and then I get comments that are saying, you know, arrogant Americans, or why do you think you're better? I never said that. Never once have I said that my country's better than your country. So I'm not quite sure why there's that animosity amongst people. But instead of attacking me for reacting to the video, Elon Lund decided that the video that I reacted to didn't quite present things properly. So they commented. They said, hey, watched your whole video. Not the greatest video to react to but check this one out. So that's what I'm doing today, because I read my comments and I do comment back. With all that being said, let's find out if the United Kingdom's plugs and outlets are better than the ones we have here in America.
I get a little bit patriotic sometimes. And sometimes that's for comedy purposes, and sometimes it's genuine. And this is genuine, because I really do believe that the British plug is one of the greatest designs that has ever hit the world. For loads of reasons. I mean, there's a safety feature that most folks, at least in Britain, know, which is that it's really difficult for a kid to take, say, a screwdriver.
Okay, first, that outlet right there, we have those here in America, but they're usually for like our bigger appliances, right? Like your washer, your dryer, your oven, maybe. So I've seen those before. People say the power in the UK is stronger than ours. I agree. The electricity comes into our house at 220 volts, and then it gets dispersed through the circuit board, the circuit breakers, and when it's actually to the appliance, it's 120, unless it's your major appliance like your washing machine and your dryer. Like I said before, then we have that style of outlet. So I've seen them. I'm just curious, how are these safer?
And just poke it into one of the holes. Because up here is earth, ground for the Americans, that's a safety one. These two here are live and neutral, where the actual danger is. But they've got shutters over them. Don't try and sit home.
They've got shutters over them. Now that's interesting. We don't have that. I think when it comes to having small kids in your house, that would be amazing. Because, see, we have to get these. You have to go out. You have to buy enough to put in every outlet in your house. And then it's a real pain, because whenever you need to plug something in, you have to remove that and plug the new. That would be amazing to have. Cost effective. Like it.
I cannot poke a screwdriver in there right now. What I have to do is plug the earth pin, which you can see is slightly longer, the ground pin here, in first. And when that goes in, little shutters come up and let the other pins in. So I can show that, because this extension here is really badly designed, which means I can put the plug in upside down. So if you have a look at those shutters, when I put the earth pin in, there we go.
Okay, all right, I'll give it to you. That is great. Your ground is longer, so it actually opens the doors. Love that. I do wish we had that here in the United States. That is amazing.
And there's now a contact for the other two pins. So you need to have a really inventive baby to be able to put one in there and another in there and then get a shock. So that's safer, that's brilliant. What about if you leave the plug halfway out? Because American, European sockets, you leave the plug halfway out, you've got live electricity that you can kind of touch. You can get a finger in there.
Yeah, he's right. We don't intentionally leave them out part way. Sometimes if you have a pet that runs behind like your chair and hits the plug, it'll come out part way. Yeah, that happens. But it's not intentional. But I can see how, it's a safety hazard. If something were to brush up against there, your curtain touches it, there's a chance for a fire. So let's see what they have to navigate that situation. I'm curious.
Well, not here, because on the live and neutral pins on the bottom, you can see insulation extends halfway through them.
Okay. Yes. Brilliant. That's a genius idea. That really is.
If the plug is far enough in to make a connection, like that, all you can touch is the insulation. Okay, so that's the obvious safety features. What about on the inside? Because you've got to remember, until 1992, the British government did not require that electrical appliances had plugs on them. If you bought a toaster or a washing machine, you would get, almost always, a bare wire at the end. And you'd expect to wire the plug yourself. So I got taught how to wire a plug in school, because that was still a required skill back then. Here we go, if I open this up. First, there's a fuse. And that's an artifact of when the standard was made. Post-World War II, there was a copper shortage. And, it was a lot cheaper to require a fuse in every plug and just build the circuit as one loop of cable.
That's a great idea. We don't have that in America. We don't have fuses in our plugs themselves. We have circuit boards, and each section of our house is controlled by that. So if something were to go wrong with, say, your lamp, for example, let's say it shorts, the wire comes out part way, it'll pop the circuit board. But what happens is that shuts off the electricity to that entire space. Then you have to go to your circuit breaker, you got to reset it. To have it on the end of your own like individual appliance, and then that fuse blows when something goes wrong and doesn't affect the electricity in the rest of the room, that'd be amazing. That would be great.
Than it was to have loads of individual copper strands going out all over the house and a fuse for each. So they just made the house one giant circuit, put a fuse in each plug. That's now safer. Then you've got the three wires. Blue is neutral. BL, L for left, blue goes to the left. Brown is live, BR, R goes to the right, live goes to the right. You can also remember that live is brown because that's the colour your trousers will go if you accidentally hit yourself with it. And finally there's this one, the green and yellow. That's the earth or the ground wire. Now in normal operation that shouldn't be used, but it's basically a return path if all else fails. If something goes electrically wrong in the plug or in the appliance, that will ground it and all the electricity will safely go away from people. Because if that disconnects and there's a problem, well, you could touch the metal bit of this toaster and the electricity could ground itself through you and through your heart, which is bad. So instead, you have this wire here, and this is the really clever bit. This is the bit that not many people know about. You see that slack in the wire just here? In the event that there's a tug on this cable and something goes wrong, and all these start fraying and coming out, the live and the neutral, the ones where the danger is, they'll get pulled out first.
Yeah, we do the same thing here in the United States. Our ground wire, we put a little slack in for the exact same reason. It's a very safe practice, and yeah, so that's the one thing that we do have in common.
And then the earth wire will come out next. So in the event of damage or fraying, it's most likely that the earth wire is going to be the safe one and no one's going to get killed. So there you go, the British plug, genuinely one of the best bits of design I've ever come across, with one exception, which is that if you just let it fall on the ground because, you're just throwing something out the way, it will almost certainly end up with the points pointing upwards, which means in the middle of the night, when you stand on it, it is really going to hurt.
All right. Great video. I do appreciate you guys letting me know to check this out. And yes, I will concede there are a lot of good features in your plugs and your outlets that I would have to say, in this case, the UK, they win the battle of the outlets. It's safer. It's easier. You win. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I do really appreciate you. If you could, hit that subscribe button. If you have other videos that you want me to react to, drop them in the comments. But until next time, I am Kix. Thanks for watching.